Hey everyone, thank you for joining me again for Down and Dirty. Today I'm really excited for my topic. As I put on social media, I'm going to be talking about leaving early for the WNBA. Now, a lot of you have asked me about the Jewell Loyd situation and my thoughts on that. Really, I don't have any comments on that just because I don't know why she chose to leave. I don't know her reasoning, so it really doesn't make a lot of sense for me to speculate. The only views I have are that of leaving for the WNBA as a whole, as it pertains to anybody. And that is, I'm 100% against it. Simply because, get your degree. Why wouldn't you want to reward yourself for all the work you've put in over the years? The class of 2014 had an average loan debt of $33,000. As athletes, we have an opportunity to graduate and leave school with no debt and a diploma in our hand. So why wouldn't you want to take advantage of that? Now, I asked Nneka Ogwumike the same question, and she had a very similar response to mine. And here's what she had to say.
I think it's very important for girls, girls transitioning from college to the WNBA to come with a full arsenal of whatever it is that they need to make it in the professional world. We have a lot of opportunities to play professionally, and we know the status of the WNBA. It's still growing, it's still young, and we're working towards getting, higher salaries and more benefits that resemble that of the NBA. But it is a reality that we don't make it nearly as much as what people think we should make. And overseas, there's more opportunities as well. But I'm all for graduating and getting your diploma and getting your degree, especially as women. I just think that for us to be able to be kind of like not even a jack of all trades but a master of many, because we have our degrees and we're also playing professionally and we have options. That's just my personal opinion.
As women, there's an after basketball. Now, the men make millions and millions of dollars, so they don't have to worry about it as much as we do. We don't make nearly as much as them, so there's usually, for majority of us, going to be a life after basketball. So what do? To me, you fall back on your education, what you were interested in before, and you let that guide you to your second career, whatever path you decide to take. I was raised under the notion that education comes first and basketball always comes second. So to me, it really isn't any deeper than that. You always have to get your degree and stay in school. So those are my views on leaving early for the WNBA. Now, you guys had a lot of comments and questions that I want to get to. And actually, I was really surprised at how many people were supportive of leaving. So L9109 had some interesting questions, and here's what she had to say. Did you think about going to the draft and not taking your 5th year? What kind of effect does this have on younger players that could be in the same position in the future? It never crossed my mind to leave for the WNBA after I graduated and not take my 5th year. But we had just lost in the national championship, and I was hungry. I wanted another opportunity to play in a championship and try to win it. So I definitely wanted to come back. I was really actually upset that I had come back halfway through my junior year. I wish I hadn't, so that I could play for a 6th year. I really enjoyed my time at Notre Dame, and I wanted to make the most of it. So I never thought of leaving early. Now, as for the younger girls, I think that they will think about leaving more. So now, especially if Jewell and Zowie B play well, I think it'll cross their mind as they enter their junior year, a little bit more so than it would have before. Now, Tina Thompson made a very interesting comment, and this is what she said. Interesting thought, but physically and mentally they just aren't ready. No dig. Unlike the fellas, we get so much better with time. There are a few exceptions, but normally late 20s to early 30s are prime time for us. My best years were during those times. WNBA players, they were taller, they're stronger. They usually have a lot more experience than you have. So graduating and going to the WNBA is an adjustment in itself. So leaving early naturally is going to be a bigger adjustment. And as Tina said, as we get older, we usually get better. Our game is based off of fundamentals. So the more knowledge you have, the more experience you have, the better you're going to be. Now, I don't necessarily think that's going to be a big factor in Loyd and Zowie B's progression, simply because they're still talented. I think they'll be able to hold their own. To me, the biggest adjustment was mentally. In my experience in the WNBA, you're not really taught a whole lot. There's not a lot of teaching going on. You have a job, you're getting paid to do it, you're expected to perform. So you're on your own a lot of times. There's not the coddling and, you know, the holding your hand through things like there is in college. If you need to get better at something, you get in the gym, you get better at it. And, you know, in the WNBA, it's your career, it's your job. So if you're not doing it well, you'll just be replaced. So to me, that's the biggest adjustment. Now, the last topic I want to go over that a lot of people brought up, interestingly enough, was draft positioning. Now, when I think about leaving because of draft positioning, I think of money. Because on the men's side, obviously, the number one picks gets paid significantly more than the number two and so on and so forth. But for the women, it's different. Number 1 through 4 get the same salary. Number 5 through 8 get the same salary. And then the rest of the first round get the same salary. So unless you're teetering that 4-5 or that, you know, 8-9 position, to me, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to leave because you're going to be making the same amount of money. Now, if you're trying to leave so that you can simply say you were the number one pick, that's different. That makes more sense simply because, you know, that's based off of who you're coming out with, what the class is looking like. So that would make more sense. But monetarily, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense because you're going to be making the same amount of money as other people in your little, you know, category. So, I mean, I think that's one of the biggest differences between us and the men's side as far as trying to leave early for money. But I really appreciate everybody's participating in this discussion. I definitely think I want to have more topics where it's more interaction because I think you guys really enjoyed it. Now, all the comments and the questions that I didn't get to, I'm going to respond to on social media and through email. So don't worry about that. And I thank you guys for joining me for another Down and Dirty with Devereaux. And I'll see you guys in a couple weeks.